All right, so I've recorded this so many times, but it's Sunday. I'm getting breakfast, and I want to talk about Gram Platner. And I'm a person who's not, overtly political, but ever since Trump entered the political sphere and became president, or even was running, I was really concerned because I saw the individuals that supported Donald Trump. You know, and I'm talking about the KKK Proud Boys. And he really didn't do anything to denounce them, to stop or go against, what they stood for. And you've seen the division in this country as marginalized people are being attacked. Women, disabled people, black people, Hispanic people, LGBTQ community, and just many more, right? Immigrants, right? So Graham Platner is running in Maine against Susan Collins, who is the current person in that political seat, and he has been running as progressive. Lots of people on the left have been very excited about what he's saying. He seems like someone who could potentially beat Susan Collins. And recently in the news, it has been announced that he has a tattoo which has Nazi symbolism. And you see the left and lots of people that I watch on YouTube really take two sides. I see a majority, to be honest, taking the side of, hey, people make mistakes. Are we going to condemn somebody for the rest of their life about a mistake that they made in the past? And then you have the other side where people are saying, this is something we should be concerned about, and are even calling for Graham Platner to drop out of the race. Now, I am expressing concerns here, so I'm not in full support of saying, hey, we should move forward. Sorry, no time. People make mistakes. Yes, people make mistakes, but we don't know this man, to be honest. And are we going to completely defend somebody when there are warning signs? I think not. So here we are, and I think that a lot of this is because of the anxiety with the Trump administration, the GOP, who are just destroying this country, who disregard the law. You see the Supreme Court just supporting Donald Trump and really doing so, to be honest, in my opinion, without any care for the law, but just for political benefits, to be honest. And the Democrats currently, the centrists, the corporate Democrats, are ill-equipped to deal with the situation. I saw a CNN host saying the Democrats need to be centrist. I think that the Republicans need to be centrist. I say, whenever you see people say this, they are trying to stop progress for the American people. People are fed up with the excuses of like, sorry, we can't do much. I'm watching people who are billionaires get richer. I saw an article, Elon Musk essentially potentially accepting a $1 trillion pay package. It's up to, I guess, for his shareholders to see if he's going to get that pay package, because he wants some influence in this robot army that they're going to build, right? As I guess he referred to it. And I think that we've watched centrist Democrats kind of go, sorry, I can give you one prescription. And then we go celebrate, yay, it's progress. Oh my God, something, crumbs. I think a lot of people are tired of that. And I'm really looking to some young people and other people, because not all young people, it's very divided about where they stand, to be honest. I've seen young people support the GOP, a lot of young people supporting Charlie Kirk. But you see young people saying, why can't we aim big? Why can't we, go for what we want? And you know what, to be honest, that's true. We only have one life, right? It's short. Why can't we have a government that actually helps the American people? And that's why people like, candidates like Zoran Mandami are so popular. Because, right now, Zoran is saying the right things. And who knows when he's in political office, right? But we are desperate for change. And I think that desperation right now for change is causing individuals just to immediately excuse what's happening with Graham Platner out of fear and anxiety. And I understand it. I'm experiencing it too. But sometimes with the Democrats and Republicans, it seems like a WWE match where it seems scripted, right? It's like, oh my God, who's going to win? I already know who's going to win. They're going to give in a little bit for them to make it seem like, they're fighting. But you have people breaking through on the Democratic side, and I think the Jasmine Crockett's, the AOCs, and this is really making the establishment Democrats, the centrist, the corporate Democrats upset. So as I look at this situation, I see, the urgency. Yes, I understand. But let's take a look at that tattoo, right? It said that Gram Platner has had this for around 20 years. That alone is concerning. And also, he says he got this with friends, right? So you're telling me that nobody knew what this was, right? Is there the possibility that after he got the tattoo, someone goes, oh, guess what? That tattoo I made you get, it's associated with Nazis. It's possible. And he still kept it, and he was like, oh, you know what? That's cool. And then you add on top of that the Reddit post, right? Which is racist, and some are saying homophobic. I read some of it, and Gram Platner says, hey, this is me when I was young. I'm not that person anymore. And I looked into a little bit of Gram Platner's history. He has protested against war. He served in the military. But I couldn't really find something, outside of his, work as an oyster farmer, I believe it was, that really showed to me anything as examples of his actions that support his words as a progressive candidate. So that causes me a little bit of concern, right? Now, it's interesting that the same people who are supporting Gram Platner right now are the ones who criticized the Biden administration for not seeing the writing on the wall after Biden had that terrible debate performance, right? His wife went on stage, Jill, and was like, oh my God, you did such a great job. You answered all the questions. And I was like, what? That was terrible. I mean, why are we encouraging him? I was like, it must be really bad if you're saying to him on stage, you did a great job, right? I know that we have to reject positivity, but when people are saying like, something's wrong here, and you're like, oh, we're doing great, that was really concerning. And rightfully so, they were calling out for Biden to drop out of the race. But right now, you have something really concerning with Gram Platner, and it's almost like they're in the administration, and they're telling us, shut up, ignore it, we're moving forward with this, no time. I was like, didn't we experience this with the, recent presidential race? I'm really concerned. You're falling in the same pattern of the people that you were upset with, the Biden administration. And then you have people saying, hey, this could be another John Fetterman. And you have the same commentator saying, shut up, this is not the same situation, it's different. And you're right, it is different. Because with John Fetterman, I don't remember warning signs like this, like clear warning signs. In this situation, Gram Platner, we have some, clear warning signs that are cause for us to stop, learn more, get more information, but you're refusing. So yeah, it is different. We have more information and you're refusing to listen. So that is upsetting, right? And it's almost like, let me go back to these individuals, right, who are calling on the Biden administration for ignoring the concerns of citizens who are saying, we're struggling. We can't afford what's, our groceries. We're worried about gas. And they were like, the Biden administration was like, well, the stock market's doing great. Shut up, ignore them. Just ignore any concerns. And the left is doing that right now when they raise concerns about John Fetterman comparison, right? Like, shut up. It's really crazy to me. Now, we need to listen to the concerns. This is what I'm saying, because there are people who experience racism, who know the telltale signs, and probably themselves have been in a situation where they've forgiven a person, they've given them a chance only to be burned. There are other people who are in such a vulnerable position where they can't take that risk. And I believe right now, with Trump, can we afford to take that risk without proper vetting? I mean, Gram Platner is running for office, right? He is going to say what he needs to say to get that seat. He is going to benefit with this position because he's going to have power and influence. So when you have things like this, I don't think it's unfair for people to be concerned. I don't think it's unfair for people to be expressing, calls for him to potentially drop out. And I get really upset when people on the left, these commentators are really telling people just to be quiet and just shooting down their concerns and doing posts and not really listening. To be honest, I want to give an example. In some of these shows, they take callers, and they refer to the individuals when they give their name as a caller, right? And then they immediately shut them down and tell them why they're stupid. And the person, you could tell, is trying to be open, they're trying to be understanding, trying to be respectful, but the hosts themselves are not being respectful. And I understand, you have experience in this area. Educate us. Tell us why instead of like talking down to us, right? I am a person sometimes that feels ill equipped in this political climate and I need to learn more. But when I watch some of these hosts and these shows and these YouTube shows, talk down to their audience, I get really upset. I mean, TYT, that's one of the reasons why I left when they were attacking DEI. I was like, I'm out. When they were attacking trans people, I was like, I'm out. When they were yelling at their audience, I was like, okay, I supported you because I thought you were a fighter, but not a fighter against your audience. So I think right now you have lots of people saying we need a new candidate. And the people on the left who support Gram Platner, who are saying we need to move forward, people make mistakes, are saying there's no time. But we have another candidate running, Jordan Woods. So what we should be doing, and this is just my recommendation, okay, is I would have Jordan Woods, and lots of these shows have influence. They have had other political, individuals, candidates come on their show. Have him on your show. Get to know more about him. The fact that he's just a gay Democrat is not a reason enough just to vote for him, right? He has been attacked. Obviously, in this political climate, a lot of people are attacking him, he has said, for being gay. And this is a time where the GOP, Trump, are saying that gay people, trans people, drag queens are trying to groom your children. Okay? Look at the sun. It's in my face. I'm almost done. Now, I think that's what we should be doing. This is my recommendation. Right now, we do have the time. These left-leaning shows should not be doubling down on Gram Platner. They should be having discussions about this, exploring more. They should be looking into having Jordan Woods on their show. And there's one area that, unfortunately, that we have to admit is lacking on the left media space, which is like the independent media. The resources that corporate media has to be able to send reporters to these areas, be able to talk to the people, be able to go into these war zones, right, and see what's happening in these areas, we lack in independent media. Unfortunately, that corporate has that, and unfortunately, corporations are definitely bending the knee to Donald Trump. So it's really scary right now, and I get really worried about that, and I know that's kind of like going on a tangent, but I think that we should do and have an obligation to explore all options right now. I mean, maybe they know Gram Platner personally, right? They know him very well, but then I would like to know that information. Like, maybe you're defending him because you know a lot about him. Or are you seeing what we're seeing and you're coming to his immediate defense out of desperation and saying, hey guys, sometimes you can't, get what you want. You have to take what you have. But there's another option, Jordan Woods. And I feel like we're ignoring that. And they're probably saying, well, the number's not good right now. Well, let's try to have him on the show. Let's talk to him. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm just going to say this as we kind of close out. When I speak out, I'm trying to speak out for everybody. I'm a person that is open to learning. I understand people make mistakes. I want to learn more about Gram Platner. I'm not going to fully support him right now, to be honest, because there's lots of people expressing concerns, and I think they should be listened to. And, there's lots of people who are blindly supporting Donald Trump, and I watch, and I feel so terrible, because I watch them in these situations where they are struggling, just like us, and they're being conditioned and manipulated and brainwashed to think that fellow Americans who are in Social Security, just like them, getting food stamps just like them, or just one step away from being in these programs, right, are their enemies. And it's really sad, the state of this country. I don't see anything moving forward. I just see right now what the GOP has promised is that we're going to go after people, and corporations are going to make lots of money. That I don't see how the everyday person is going to benefit. It's the same old thing, to be honest. on the Republican side. It's just more extreme than it ever has been. So there are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about Gram Platner. Do you think that he should drop out? Do you think we should explore more about Jordan Woods? What do you think is the best option right now? Am I wrong? I don't know. I'm open to your opinions. You know, people can change, but I think we should err on the side of caution. And there is a vetting process when you're running for political office. And it's, the people that decide. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to have some breakfast. Bye.